Ashe. Ashe and grand rising to you once again, my beautiful people. Yes, you, my highly enriched melanin people. You, the Earth's original and organic humans, aka my fellow Africans. Yes, it is I, the Mystic Philosopher, and yes, it is evident that I'm still here with you on this side of reality. And welcome back to the Mystic P. Is talking again on the 15 minutes with I, the Mystic Philosopher. Episode 32. Now back to the topic of discussion, or please let me remind you that the main topic for this series of the Mystic P is talking again is stress on the mind, or more correctly, the impact that this thing that we humans call stress is having on this thing we human also call the mind. However, and as you know by now that I have diverted from the main topic to answer a very important question and comment from one of my listeners, who is also one of my free and independent thinking sisters. And I also pointed out to you that it was actually two questions and a comment. And in episode 31, I focused on answering question number one, which I quote again just for your memory. How would you describe a person, or what would you say about a person that has become old and is stricken with the disease called Alzheimer, and as a result of their condition, they have lost their senses, their intelligence, their ability to reason, their memory, unquote. Now please see episode number 31 for my detailed answer and comments on that part of the question, and number one. So please let me know, home in as I did on question number one. Let me know, home in, and answer question number two directly. Question number two from my beloved sister. She said, would you now say that they have become lower than animals, especially those animals that can be seen exhibiting a high degree of intelligence, such as dogs and dolphins, that are trained to carry out certain difficult tasks? And she continued by saying, I anxiously await your response, unquote. And my straight answer to this question is simply this: not necessarily. Not necessarily meaning it is a possibility, but it is not a certainty. Let me repeat that. It is a possibility, but not a certainty. And let me now explain. It is a possibility that if or when most things, if not all things, are reasonably and intelligently considered to the observer that is observing and making the comparison, a person that has been stricken with Alzheimer's disease, and the disease may have progressed to the stage called dementia, and even beyond, and as a result of the person's condition, he or she may have lost their physical senses, their human intelligence, their ability to reason, and their memory, etc. That person could be seen as, or could be described as, becoming lower than an animal, or as one that has become lower than an animal, and especially lower than an animal that is exhibiting a high degree, a high degree of intelligence. But certainly, and with certainty, that person or that human, or any person or any human that is stricken with Alzheimer's disease, cannot and would not be seen by a reasonable, fair and intelligent human observer as an animal, or as the animal that he or she is being compared to. A wise man once said, and I quote, a living dog is better than a dead animal, rather a dead lion, unquote. So even from this statement, we can see that a dog is not a lion. And even though the lion is dead, it is still a lion, but only that it is dead. I may even go as far as to say that the lion is only dead to activity here in the physical realm, or on this side of what we call reality. For if some of us would fall asleep and dream that the same lion is chasing them in their sleep, they might even wake up scared, frightened to death. And if or when you ask them what happened, they might even tell you that a lion or the lion was chasing them in their sleep. But more on that at another time. And a wise man or a wise woman would not expect a dead lion to function like a live lion on this side of reality. And if the lion is unable to function in accordance to its natural and inherent characteristics as a lion, then another animal that is inferior to it in rank and status, that is alive and is able to perform in its natural capacity and characteristics and possible beyond, is much better than the dead lion. From my perspective, in the scheme of things, a lion's status and rank due to circumstances can or may change, can be changed or may change due to circumstance. But the lion itself does not, and possible the lion cannot change. The lion does not change, or possibly the lion cannot change. And by the same token, or by the same line of reasoning, a human or a person that is stricken with Alzheimer's disease, and the disease progressed to dementia, his or her status or rank may change behaviorally. It may change intellectually or sensibly or physically, etc. But the human person, the human or the person does not and possible cannot change. At worst, you can only now use the appropriate adjective to describe their condition or the condition that they may now find themselves in. In other words, a human or a person's status can change, but the human or the person, him or herself, does not change, or the human status can change, but his or her status as a human does not change and possible cannot change. And so the question that an inquisitive or an inquiring mind like that of my sister and myself would ask here is this: what makes a dog and a lion a lion? What makes a human and an animal an animal? In other words, what really and truly makes the distinction or the distinctions between us and them? And the answer from my perspective, and as I have shared with you before, and I'll do so here again, it is our brain power. It is our human faculty for thinking, reasoning, and understanding things objectively, especially as it pertains to things that are abstract, or things that are non-physical, or things that are academic in nature. It is our ability to memorize things, it is our language capability, and our ability to reason, plan, and to be strategic in our endeavors. And above all, there is one more element or one more thing that I did not mention yet, or I did not mention or emphasize before in this series of talks, and which I will do now. I will do so now. It is the spirit. It is the spirit that is naturally incarnated in a human physical body versus the spirit that is naturally incarnated in an animal physical body that truly separates us and sets us apart as humans and as animals. And as the wise sage and philosopher called Solomon once said, or once asked the question over 3,500 years ago, and I quote, "Who knows if the human spirit rises upward and if the spirit of the animal goes downward into the earth?" Unquote. So even here we can see that the spirit in human is not the same as the spirit that is in animals. But much more on that at another time. Now, for those of you that have taken the time out of your time to listen to some of or to all of my earlier lectures and presentations here online, you would no doubt have heard me said that from the Mystic Philosopher's perspective, this thing that we humans call life is about asking questions that provide answers, that only ask more questions in the everlasting quest for knowledge of that which we call truth. Now, if I am correct, then the other question that another inquisitive mind like that of my dear sister and myself is hereby asking is this: how and why did this come about? How did this come about and why did this come about? Meaning, how and why did the distinction between humans and animals came about? However, in the interest of time, I think that I will have to pick up on that one at another time. And maybe I just do a little verse of a little song for you, because I don't want to lose those of you who just like to hear me make songs. This one is called Solitaire, just verse one. There was a man, a lonely man, who lost his love through indifference. A heart that cared, that went unheard, until he died within silence. And solitaire, the only game in town, and every road he takes him down. And by himself it's easy to pretend he'll never love again. And keeping to himself he plays this game, and without her love he's always in the same. While life goes on around him everywhere, he's playing solitaire. Now, in the interest of time, I think I will have to end this talk here for now and pick up back on this and many other topics. If I when next I'm talking again, possibly in part 5 of this same answering the question, or the last questions that I've asked in part 5. Yes, of this also my sister's question that started this all. So I will humbly ask that you please join me in part 5 if or when next I'm talking again, possibly in episode 33. At the end of answering her question, hopefully, and getting through this to her satisfaction, I will be picking up from where I left off in episode 29. So in the meantime and between time, my friends, please let me again remind you, please remember, my people, that yesterday is history. It too is dead and gone. No more to come back. Tomorrow is a mystery. It may never come, but today is a gift, which is why it is called the present day. And so I hereby implore you to live for today. And by live, I mean claim your natural birthright. Please don't let nobody steal the joy. And just in case you didn't know what your natural birthright is, it is your happiness and full joy today to the best of your ability. And then let's hope for tomorrow. Again, my people, I thank you for listening. Thank you for sharing of your time, which you will never get back. And I am the Mystic Philosopher. Ashe, 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 I say, on the 15th.